on a Daily Mix. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we're going to get you in the know. We're going to be talking with two Pauls today from the Southwest Behavioral and Health Services. We've got Paul Rubi, who is a peer support specialist. Nice to have you on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No, it's good. And we got Paul Buttermore, who's the program director. Nice to have you on the show. This is a heavy subject, but we're going to get through it in our big 5 minutes. So again, I want to start with you because apparently something I didn't know, more than 43 million people in the U.S. alone suffer with some type of depression or some type of mental illness, and a lot of them aren't diagnosed and they don't know where to go. But here in Arizona, we have the Southwest Behavioral Health Services. So Paul R., I'm going to start with you. Tell us a little bit about what you were diagnosed with and when that happened.
In 2003, I was diagnosed with bipolar, with depression. And then in 2017, I was diagnosed with childhood post-traumatic stress disorder.
Okay. And how did the Southwest Behavioral Health Services help you?
Well, Paul was one of my therapists, so he showed up at my house every week, and I was in the midst of a very debilitating depression, and basically what he helped me do is to talk through my depression.
Was it easy for you?
Not always, no. Because part of the problem is that when you're facing a mental illness, you also have to face your life, and you have to also face some very difficult truths about your life. And you have to look at the choices that you've made. And your mental illness oftentimes will influence those choices, and they're not always good choices.
Right.
And nonetheless, you still have to suffer the consequences for those choices.
Yeah.
So you have to get really honest with yourself about your mental illness, and you have to get really honest about yourself. But once you get past that pain, once you get past the grief and the loss, then you know, my whole life began to turn around. Wow.
I love that you're so open and honest, too, because for anyone that's watching right now that could be where you were, this is probably an eye-opener, and it's nice to hear that someone went through it and you've got through it, but it wasn't easy.
No, it isn't easy. And, you know, there's a lot of stigma. People don't want to ask for help. Unfortunately, people don't treat mental illness as a disease. They treat it as some kind of defect in character, especially with something like depression. People think, oh, you just have to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and you have to stop being so lazy. And that's not what it's about. Depression is very difficult. It's so much more.
All right, well, Paul B., I want to talk to you. Just tell us some of the misconceptions that are out there when it comes to dealing with someone with mental health issues.
Well, I think to kind of add on to what Paul said is some of that stigma. And I think some of the stigma comes with, you know, I think one of the biggest ones is the violence surrounding mental illness. And that's definitely not the case. I believe that, you know, and some of it is portrayed in our TV shows and in the media, that it's mental illness and violence go hand in hand, and that's sure not the case. And I think there's also the stigma around, especially with men, around that it's a weakness. And that sure isn't the case.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you guys are opening up doors for conversation with this. So, Paul, what are you doing now? Because now you're actually helping other individuals because you've come over that hurdle.
Well, I have a unique situation at Southwest Behavioral Health. I actually have 4 positions within the company.
That's amazing.
We have this little retail store, and that's where I first went when I started working for the company. And what that helped me do was reorient myself and help me rebuild my social skills with people. So a little thing like just, you know, working as a cashier and talking to people helped me heal. And now people saw that I was changing. People saw that there was a certain dynamic factor to my personality. And so they came to me, different people in the company came to me and said, would you like to be a peer support and do new employment orientation for Consumer Perspectives, which is a class giving new employees what it's like to be a client of Southwest Behavioral Health.
You're amazing, and I like the fact that you turned your life around, because you are an inspiration to so many others who are going through this.
I tried.
You did a great job. Well, the 2 Pauls, I'm glad you were here on the show. Unfortunately, we're out of time. SB&Hservices.org is the website. We also have a link on our website, AZTV.com. Right now, we're going to check in with Sandy because there's more to come on the show.
Great. Thanks. I like that.